What's up, guy?
Hello.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Lyle's Movie Files. Joining me, as always, this little brother, equally frustrated, Jayce. How are you, dear brother?
I am doing well. I hope you have a button just in case if you need to censor me. Just if you see me, just that might work. Yeah, might need to be a little longer, but yeah. But yes, I'm. What's going on, 80s?
Hey, kid for the 90s. What's going on, brother?
Yeah, it's
After child in the building.
what's going on.
And James Green, what's up, man?
What's going on, guys?
Now, Jayce and I didn't have this plan. This was a total coincidence. We finished watching Secret Invasion. So I guess both of us, using our powers of not twins, but our Tomax and Zaymot connection 4 years apart, decided to do a little silent protest on behalf of better quality Marvel's stuff from live action that we don't want to associate with anything with Secret Invasion.
Yeah, Secret Invasion. I mean. I like right before we put on, right before the show started, I'm like, now I want a shark to actually very quietly say, yeah, something far better than what I just had to watch for 6 episodes, thinking it's got to get better than this. Like, oh, that reveal, no, that did nothing. All right, so Jeff, I don't monopolize the time on a giant rant. Would you like to start us off on what part of the rant I'm going to start on, and I'll take 90-second bites?
I think 80s summed it up really well. Secret Invasion was the worst CW show.
Hey, do not talk about CW shows as bad as that thing.
No, I think definitely some CW shows can go in that mix, but yeah.
Oh gosh, bro. Yeah.
All right, let's pick up from where we left off last week. Nick Fury grabs the harvest. Apparently, he's just harboring a bunch of their DNA. See, so James Green is like, see, I told y'all they can bounce back from all this.
Woo!
I think we might have different definitions of bounce back.
That's not how Big Sean says big bounce back. Like, no,
this is like taking a pumpkin from 5 stories up and dropping it and then watching it bounce. Oh,
it bounced.
It does bounce. Just all
in
over
the pieces.
Yeah. All right. So last week, Fury was going to pick up the harvest because apparently all the DNA of the Avengers, of Captain Marvel and her amazing sidekick friends was in one vial of carefully cultivated DNA.
Okay. Okay.
Yes.
All right. Why, if you have all of the DNA, why are you actually cultivating it, separating it out to make it a thing?
Because the writers didn't have any idea what the heck they were doing. And this is just symbolic of the entire series where, once again, it felt like they had a thought, had an idea, they had no idea. No idea. Oh, wait, there's a clarifying voice. My bad. I mean, they can bounce.
Very concerned. Ah, gosh.
Yeah, I mean, it was just absurd in the first place that he has a blood detection device that he sends out to Gravix. Go get all the blood from the Avengers. Cool, no problem, man. I'll do that. And so then he calls someone and he makes a point to tell Sonya, I'm not calling my Avenger friends because we can't rely on them to swoop in using their superpowers to come save us. This is something only I can do. Only I can do. I'm about to prove to the world how dangerous Nick Fury can be. Blake, what's up, man?
What's going on,
guys? And so, I'm like, okay. And then he gets on the phone call. Hey, it's time. It's like, oh, okay. I can't rely on my Avenger fans because it's not in the budget.
Exactly.
Why couldn't he contact Captain Marvel? Because they're doing a movie together. And this movie is going to matter way more than Secret Invasion ever will. Okay. Ever. So it was a a whole bunch of problems. But so we're going into this next episode, the season finale, and right away I'm worried because I hit play, and the Joker says it's 38 minutes. Let's say,
Yeah,
I can wrap up the season finale in 38 minutes, and then I get the option to skip the recap. I'm like, oh, and then it takes it to 36. I'm like, oh, and then I have the option to skip past the AI generated opening. And I'm down to like 35 minutes. And I'm thinking, they're going to have credits on the back end of this thing. And I think, according to my fuzzy math, that meant there was about 30 minutes of show.
Yeah, that was 31 minutes of show.
Going to wrap up everything they've set up over the course of this really bad, really long movie/TV series.
Like, I mean, just do you think not going through all of the subplots of this? I'm thinking there were at least
we can go through the subplots.
Okay,
I want to break them down.
Like, so we had Olivia Colman's actually competent Sonya. Like,
and then there's the joint. Her character is related to Captain America's buddy from the very first Avenger. That's one of her relatives.
She's related to Dugan.
No,
Dum.
He's not British.
No.
I'm about to pull it up for you.
Okay.
Don't worry, I got you. So let's see. Here he is. Because this is one of those deals where it's like, hey, this is us paying attention to everything. All right, let's see here. Let me pull this up so you can see exactly what I'm talking about.
Okay.
This is her relative.
Why is that not mentioned?
I mean, I don't understand. They wanted to tie into everything else. Maybe it was because they couldn't screw up something with Captain America. So they were just
have a license deal that we can screw up everything else, but Captain America is off limits. Oh wait, it isn't off limits. We're screwing up everything. Fire sale. Anything that happened before must go. Like
they were pulling Puff Daddy.
Again, she was out of the whole series, she was the most competent character written
until this episode, because she wasn't necessary.
No, Jeff, she saved the day. Nope. Remember, she's the one who actually saves the president. Like, my gosh,
you're jumping ahead. You got it.
That's why I said lay the points out so I don't jump ahead.
All right, so here you lean back. Rhino 4563 says, I tapped out after the second episode. You're the smartest person here. It was a boring invasion of the body snatchers. Once it was plain to see only Rhodey was in it, I was done. Exactly. I mean, they literally were like, anybody you know is a Skrull. Okay, thanks.
But
there's no twist.
Rhino, you made a far smarter decision than me, because I was literally so hyped. I'm like, this is when they're gonna bring back all of the agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. that we thought we were going to see them back randomly. Like, oh, we're going to see potentially Matt. We're going to see Daisy. We're going to see Fitz and all of them coming back. And then, some of them were going to be Skrulls. Like, nope, we got Rhodey. Like, y'all could have saved. You could have saved. I'm sorry. You could have saved the budget for Amelia Clark and Olivia Colman and put them on the guys who are a whole lot cheaper. Like, that we would actually know. Like,
go ahead, Chief.
What's going on, Chief?
Gentlemen.
So we got this foolishness going on. We're talking about Secret Invasion. And so Nick Fury then goes to the Skrull compound. I said compost, but I guess it's pretty much the same thing. So he's starting to get radioactive poisoning, and Gravix is in full high villain glory mode. Hello, Nick. You silly fool. I see your pills aren't helping with the radioactive sickness.
Okay, Jeffrey.
Yes.
The Skrulls have a whole bunch of people in the Skrullox, right?
Yeah, man. They're dead.
So exactly, they would all be dead by the radio. Just because they're not awake doesn't mean they're not taking in the radioactive nature of freaking non-Chernobyl. I mean, it was like they would be dead. So we're making this a thing, but it doesn't apply right now for the people who've been here for years. Like, come on.
All right, we got you out the child because there's. All right, so then Rhodey Fury confronts Gravis, and he's like, oh, it was my fault. And Gravis is all, you left us, you abandoned us. This is the face of the first person I killed for you. Why don't you love me? And I don't care. They haven't done enough to make this meaningful. But I don't know if they could have done a more obvious, hey, this isn't really Nick Fury because he's wearing a purple cap. What was that about?
All right. Hey, that's for action figures. But I'm trying to figure out, it was like, grab it. Like, grab it. It's like, if you wanted to build the story, like, shouldn't you have had, like, graphic backstory, like flashback episodes where he and Fury have this bond, or him and Talos, or like he's, hey guys, I don't really know if this is where we should be going, and it's like Talos is like, no, Fury told us to do it. This is probably the way to get us integrated. Like,
it was more important to hack in that Fury had a wife and to explain their connection than provide the backstory.
Nope, you're jumping ahead because I need 5 minutes on that.
I got you. So we realize Nick is sitting in the chamber that gives all the scrolls meaning Gravix, their powers. And I'm thinking, as Gravix is checking, yep, this is verified. How is he verifying this the powers of everybody? And secondly,
he's got a DNA reader. Obviously, he knows exactly, because to actually know what a DNA strand would be, you would have to have something to compare it to. So that again, unless he's got he stole Harvest for Fury, or created Harvest for Fury, but yet has the computer that has the back end of this. Like,
okay, all right. So while he's in the chamber and Fury's coughing away, we see Skrull Rhodey. He's trying to convince the president to go to war. He is going, push the button. And the president's like, what's happening? Why should I do that? Because there are these alien invaders, and Russia's behind it too. We need to start it right now. And the president's still a little shaky, like, maybe not. It's kind of a lot. And then Skrull Rhodey's beating down old girl who, like the admiral, who's like, hey, man, this is a stupid plan. And then Rhodey's just like, get out of here.
And she leaves. Like, I'm like, I'm sorry. If we're pretty much going World War III, I'm thinking all the cabinet members are on, like, basically acting like this is, what's that movie? Winter Soldier, where the Hydra the council, they would have all been on screens to actually say, hey, president, should we make, I don't think we should. I think we should. Like, there would probably be a debate versus, I'm Rhodey. Yeah.
All right. So after a while, Sony calls Skrull Rhodey. Fury's crazy. He's coming for you right now. I do. Well, I actually didn't mind that homework 80s kid. I was like, this is great. I'll rewatch all this stuff from Iron Man to whatever the new movie is. And it was very rewarding seeing everything come together because it was connected. Now, not so much. So she's like, yo, Fury's coming for you. Get out of here. And then people are getting taken out. His guard is getting taken down. And then Sonya puts the gun to Skrull Rhodey's head. It says, stop it. The president's like, what's going on? He's a Skrull. And then Nick Fury pops out. What's up? He's a Skrull. Sure. And it's like, oh, shoot. And then you went on this big rant last week about how if this Skrull Rhodey is a Skrull, why don't you just shoot him? Chief, you were like, why didn't it make sense? Why don't you just shoot him? And you know how this whole thing got resolved, Chief?
You're on
mute, man. Welcome to Zoom.
Is the series over?
It's over. Oh, it's been over, but yes.
I don't know. It left you hanging?
No, man. No, they shot. They shot the Skrull Rhodey. And then the president's like, oh, shoot. You're right. There's an alien invader race that's been infiltrating my closest advisors.
That's it?
That's it.
Okay. You could have played the tape for the president. If all of the Secret Service is now a bunch of Skrulls. Great job, Nick. Really bang up job on making sure all that didn't happen. Which I'm pretty damn
I think
sure
they were just using tasers. They were like using train darts or whatever. They weren't killing them.
Okay. All right. So you have just
Hold on,
like,
you going too long.
no. I'm just saying, like, they could have shot like Rhodey in the hand or leg. You literally did that for the guy, the UK guy. You shot him in the leg and kept it moving. Why do you even need to have him shoot him anywhere else? Just shoot him in the leg. Bam. Okay.
Because he was threatening to kill Fury, and so on this time, unlike the other times where
Isn't it bad? We've never seen this dude as a competent fighter. I'm thinking Nick Fury, who's actually fought against Hydra, can dodge a bullet that quick. Hey, come on.
I mean, he could have just done it in the hospital when he saw the scroll come up the first time. Like, oh, see, that guy you were listening to is an alien. Oh, thanks, Nick. We didn't know who that was.
Literally,
Oh, wow, thanks.
Okay.
Okay.
But
Y'all
Secret Service can help. Like, come on. Like, hey, he's alien. Done.
Go ahead.
No, it was just like they just tried. Like, I appreciate how they kind of tried to up the ante. Like Rhodey's like really like go. Like Skrull Rhodey's like, yeah, you got to shoot, do it. But it was like, okay, you don't have any like. Shouldn't you have been checking in like walkie-talkie Secret Service? Like, I mean, I know this. I live in DC. It's like it's not that easy to just run up on Secret Service. Like, it's just not gonna happen. It's like you're gonna go down. You're not gonna walk. But they would have had that floor and every floor locked down. There's no chance you're even walking up. You're not getting up a stair, an elevator. It's just not gonna happen. I mean, I guess like if you're gonna do stuff with like just generic Secret Service, please come to Washington for 5 minutes, and you will see most of your ideas are stupid. And come up with a solution that's not plausible, but do something better. Like have one of the Secret Service actually be working with Fury. Like he's actually, I didn't know if I really trusted Rhodey. It seems a little off now. Like something. Give me something.
Did you wait for the credits? Let me just ask you this: was it Agatha all along?
That would have been a tie-in. We don't do that anymore.
Because it was maybe this ain't Earth. Maybe it's Earth 9X213J.
It does not count, so I don't care. What Earth will.
This thing has really got y'all going, man. I'm glad that I have come to the podcast unfrustrated.
You're not wearing a t-shirt showing your frustrations.
No. And also, I don't think that the last podcast, I didn't notice both of you had Avenger t-shirts and nobody called me to tell me to put on mine. But that's another story.
Oh,
but,
wow.
Yeah.
I mean, nobody knows when you show up, Chief.
And then today it's obviously another superhero themed.
You're on a movie podcast, man. Come on.
You know what I mean? Thank you, sir. See, appreciate it.
Yeah.
So yeah, not one bit of it I've watched. I felt good about myself this week. I enjoyed lattes outside on the deck while you guys were home watching this thing, getting frustrated, wondering why Nick wasn't doing the things he was supposed to do. And it just sounds bad, man. It sounds bad all around. The secret invasion should have stayed secret. You know what I mean? So you guys, I'm sorry that this has frustrated y'all. But you know what? You're welcome to a latte.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
Well, Jeff, can I speak on that topic? Okay, so this show, like we're now being told that Nick Fury has had a wife since let's just say 2000, probably earlier than that. Now, does Nick Fury seem like a stay-at-home kind of father, husband at all? He's never around. Most of it seemed like the show took place in what was this? Russia? He's never in Russia. He's always and Fury was a dude that most people had track of. Like Maria Hill was around him all the time. It wasn't like he's Clint Barton who literally could sneak away and have some personal time with his wife. It's like there was no time he could actually have truly had a wife. Like he's like it was pre-Skrull giant invasion, so he's got a wife. Right? So he's with the Avengers. He's with Robert Redford's he's with Secretary Pierce. I'm sure he's got some ties with the president, and he's got this secret network of Skrulls that he's running. But yeah, he's got time for a wife in Russia. He can just sneak off anytime he wants to see his non-existent wife. And that it just like trying to like acting like family man. I mean, Nick's a family man or absentee family man, which he would have all. I mean, even in the story, he was absentee family. I mean, dad. I mean, father was like
he's a husband.
Husband. I'm like, it's like what husband is he? Like, it's his wife seems like she's like, yeah, you left, you abandoned me. But what was he around before then? Like, he's running S.H.I.E.L.D. He's not creeping in Russia every 6 months. Like, how did y'all think like this was supposed to be this thing? Like, oh wow, Nick Fury was worried. Wife. I mean, he had a wife. Oh man, they really must have loved each other. We've never heard anything about her, and he's never given any inclination that he cares about anything other than actually keeping the planet safe. Like, yeah, totally great husband material. And trying to shoehorn that into the story was just like, come on, guys, like, what are you doing? Like, it made no sense. And it was like, I mean, it's like, let's say 20, 30 minutes of throughout these episodes, like, yeah, he was a husband all the time. But no, just don't insult me by trying to, retcon some stuff. It was bad. Just move on. Like, when y'all talk that idea, like, should he have a wife? You're like, nah, it doesn't make sense. Anything that's ever come forth. So let's just move that across. Like, let's throw that away.
Keep going.
What would you like me to talk about on that?
Whatever.
Okay. And I think like when the next thing is like basically going like what Jeff like was talking about, like the Gravit thing. Like he's just he thinks acting like he's been quote unquote so much smarter than Fury throughout this whole series. And he's got this whole he's basically all of Skrullox. And magically he doesn't have any backup. He just Fury one-on-one, and he's gonna I've won. And then he jumps into a pod with Fury. Like, and Fury is just sitting there, like, what is the whole deal? Is this thing was gonna kill Fury? Or what happened? But no, magically, we find out it wasn't Fury at all. It was really Gaia, Telos' daughter, who's been impersonating Nick Fury in the pod. So now they both have the Super Skrull powers of Cull Obsidian, Hulk, Captain Marvel, the strongest of them all, and Winter Soldier. And Groot. Like, then we are treated to a fight that makes no dang sense at all, because Guy has not looked like she's been a hand-to-hand fighter at all, but magically she's going toe-to-toe with the guy who's been, knocking Fury out, taking over Russian soldiers and Secret Service like they're, nothing. And then we're treated to a fight that makes no sense, how both of these characters now have the abilities and know how to use every one of the abilities of the people they've now stolen their powers. And then we've seen Gravit, using all these, he's using Groot, he's got Cap there, he's shooting off Captain Marvel, their Hulk out there, and Groot, which, again, we've seen in the last episode, Groot, we know, Groot, kind of that whole immortal thing. And then all of a sudden, the power of Captain Marvel wins by Gaia shooting him with a blast from Captain Marvel energy. Which, again, if we've watched any of the Guardians movie, Groot doesn't do the whole dying thing, so there would be no chance of him dying. So that's at that point you're literally like, this show does not make sense. I have wasted 3 hours without credits of my life that I would like to get back. Marvel, make that happen.
You good luck with that. Let me know when Marvel gives you 3 hours.
I would like to.
I've got to put it in for a certain amount of hours too.
I think you do.
Great. So, this is the rating for the final episode on Rotten Tomatoes. 13% from 8 critics. So they didn't love it.
Wait, go back up. Written by? No, go by the written by. Are you freaking kidding me?
Ben just didn't write that. They just credit the writer of the comic book. I don't know why they do it this way. He didn't write this episode. It's just not accurate at all. Sam Barzanti says, I think as a whole, the series was a waste of time, a waste of Nick Fury, and a waste of good performances from Samuel Jackson, Ben Mendelsohn, Emilia Clarke, Kobe Smulders, and Olivia Colman. Now, Purse, though, kind of liked it. Secret Invasion 6 is just as dour and dim as the rest of the series. Samuel L. Jackson deserved a project befitting his talent, and Secret Invasion squandered that potential. Fletcher Peters, although the Nick Fury focused drama seems to think it went out with a bang, the series finale opts for a whimpering, wheezing final fight and boring repetition. Secret Invasion signs off in disappointing style. The seed of a compelling story has been sown, but it can't match what has been, by and large, one of the weakest MCU series in quite some time. Gene Hannigan. So Marvel set up its next film, but hasn't really justified wasting a story like Secret Invasion. I had such high hopes for this series, and I'm walking away so disappointed. This could have been something great instead of flamed out. The fresh Coca-Cola has lost effervescence and has become lukewarm, something that has already happened with a few of their Marvel series. Jeffrey Lyles of Lyles Movie File says Secret Invasion ultimately ended up feeling like the first of the Disney Plus MCU series that's best left ignored and forgotten entirely. I agree with you, Jeffrey Lyles of Lyles.
Wow.
Lyles.
Not surprising. I think the truth, like, this is the first, like, Marvel series you don't need to watch. There's nothing going to connect it to anything else. Like, you could, like, Fury goes back up in space. Like, at the end of the show, it's like Fury goes up in space, exactly where he started, and now the world knows there's aliens. But truthfully, the world knew there was aliens on there when you saw Thor running around, when you saw the battle in New York. It's not that super surprising that there's some aliens. Like, you would have people paranoid out of their mind that, hey, there's probably aliens running around. Oh, and then you probably see a picture of, what is that? New Asgard, which literally is the home of a whole race of aliens. Like, oh, and they're not like small powered aliens. These are Thor level god aliens running around in new, new, what is it? Ragnar? What's the place?
Asgard.
New Asgard. It's like, the idea of, like, this being a whole everybody's caught with blinders on is stupid. Like, and it's like, if you watch anything of Nick Fury, you're just like, this is trash. I mean, just stay away from it. I mean, I think you just do yourself a good service. Like, just stay away from it.
All right, DC Animation is going to do a Crisis on Infinite Earths cartoon movie. Crisis is one of DC's all-time best storylines. It takes the multiverse, because that's all the rage these days, and combines it into one. The big problem, of course, is DC Animation just reset their universe not that long ago. And with the disastrous Justice League Dark Apocalypse War, which was trash and terrible, but the rest of the New 52 movies were pretty decent. But this time they're deciding to scrap it so they can align better with the James Gunn universe and make sure that all the animation projects tie in. It's not going to be this random, here's a Batman in the 70s doing karate stuff. You're not going to have this weird stuff, these projects that just kind of come out of the blue and then, yeah, here's a big connected thread in the story. So the whole point is to streamline everything, make it come together. No, I don't think so. I mean, the comic book Crisis is not at all like what they should be doing and incorporating the Batman Who Laughs. It should just be all these Earths, like 52 of them, getting wiped out by this wave of antimatter and just destroying everything in its path. And all these different heroes from all these Earths coming together to stop the Anti-Monitor. The problem is, even in the comic books, they built up Crisis, the event itself, for like a year. They set it up and introduced the Monitor, who we're not sure if he's a good guy or a bad guy. And then it's like, surprise, he's really a good guy. And he's helping the heroes and villains prepare for this big fight against the Anti-Monitor, who we don't see until in full form until about issue 5 of this 12-issue series. The problem is they have done zero to set Crisis up. And it really feels like they're just kind of pulling this out of nowhere, to the point where it's like Crisis movie would have been great, but the timing is terrible. Yes. James Gunn announced Superman Legacy back in February. Last month, he announced who he cast. Marvel announced Fantastic Four a couple years ago. We still don't know who will be cast. That's true. So, what's your take on Crisis? Is it going to be anything or worthwhile?
Chief?
I don't know. Does it? If it's a standalone movie and they stick to the comic book script, maybe. If they tied into this, I don't know why they always want to tie it into this new world. Like all these, we got a whole bunch of them that were really good that didn't tie into anything, right? I mean, your favorite Jayce All-Star Superman. Then we had, it's just I've gone through, whatever they've had, and I think only a couple of them have been bad. The last one I watched where they merged with the anime people, and they went to everybody got turned into children. I didn't like that one. And
Teen Titans?
No, it was a DC joint where they merged. It looked like an anime joint, the big eyed people, and then they were fighting some kind of. Everybody got transported to this alien planet, and they hooked up with these bunch of girls who fought these dragon-like things. It's on Prime. Listen, I'm telling you the truth.
Okay.
And,
I'm like, sure.
Right. And then Batman was a child. They all turned to little kids. And it turned out, I didn't like it.
Are you talking about that seemed like a Justice League episode.
No, it's a movie on Prime.
Did they fight Morgan Le Fay?
No, I don't think they fought. Actually, the villain, one villain appeared, but he was a sucker for the real villain who was using that guy. And anyway,
wait a minute.
What I'm trying to say is that joint was some garbage, and I forget the other one that was garbage, but most of them are pretty good. Most of the cartoons are pretty good animations. As long as they stick to a decent script in them. Like, I don't like this. We haven't even seen this new world. So to change it and bring it part of this new world that nobody knows of, I just run a regular joint, man. I mean, how bad can it be if you just, stick to the Crisis thing?
Let's say it's like I watched like the new Superman, Man of Tomorrow, the Legion of Superheroes, which that wasn't good. And
Legion of Superheroes, what are you saying?
It was like basically like Supergirl goes to fight with the Legion of Superheroes.
Oh yeah. She they basically Batman made her go because she kept messing up, right?
Yeah. I didn't like. I wasn't
that bad. It wasn't that bad.
What? Why is? I mean, what's with the random heel turn? Like the random heel turn at the end, like, aha! I also want the pure blood of the what? What are you talking about? A race that hasn't existed forever. Like that was so. I thought that was stupid.
Listen, I don't want no trouble.
Yeah, like I think like some of the Batman goes like, are we gonna is the what is it? Not year one, but the count one with Calendar Man. Like, is that part of it? Part of the 52 that's getting? I mean, the Crisis world is going
to Long Halloween.
Yeah, it's like it's Long Halloween part of that universe. Like, is all this stuff?
I don't think they've made it clear what is part of this new universe that's going to get wiped out by Crisis. What? I think they just make it a standalone Crisis movie and just stick really true to the comic book. Make it a two-parter so they can actually tell the story. It could be their best one yet, but if they just decide, let's use these characters who we hardly developed, we have Hal Jordan is evil anyway. I don't know.
Like, I mean, like, okay, so like, yeah, like, what? How are you? If you say like we're gonna do two-part Chris, because I say you need at least you like Crisis. How they said you built it up, and I'll actually give the CW universe on how long when they decided they were going Crisis, they went on almost every show and had the monitor kind of messing around and he was kind of testing everybody. He would loop somebody out. He would do something. Monitor was messed around in that universe. And that was, in terms of TV and viewing hours, that was over like maybe 20 hours of viewing time. To try and do an animated show of at least a 12-issue story in 3 hours does not seem like a way it's going to work. Because it's like, we're going to rush everything and basically like, we're going to jump to the any monitor fight. Like that's how we're just going to have it in the scroll. Like a being has tried to wipe out the universe and here's what happens now. Here's our story. Like that's what you would get from a 90-minute or 3-hour version of Crisis. I just don't see it working out.
All right, speaking of animated projects that people have actually asked about and want to see, and X-Men 97, progress is moving along. San Diego Comic-Con, they had a panel, showed off some new action figures that look pretty cool. And one of the producers mentioned that, hey, it's going so well. We've finished everything up. We're in post-production on season 1, and right now, writing the finale for season 2. So, sounds like we're going to have at least one show. And this is coming out next year. We're not going to have to wait. I mean, we're going to have to wait. So, we're going to get this next time. And we're finally going to get some more X-Men action. But it's not just going to be one season. So, that's good news for fans of the X-Men. We're going to have at least 2 seasons of it.
Gentlemen.
How did X-Men 97...
No.
Oh, that's what you're talking about. Like, how did X-Men 97 end? Because I remember how...
X-Men 97, it's just the animated series continuing, basically.
So how did that end?
Jubilee was telling a story about a fantasy princess and elves and X-Men. I think that was the last episode. But this is going to pick up a few months, years later. So the team is going to be Bishop, Storm, Rogue, Gambit, Jubilee, Beast, Cyclops, and of course, Wolverine. And Magneto's going to be there. Shaw, Emma Frost, Callisto. Oh, and Morph's going to be there too. So lots of characters. That's the core season 1 crew. But now we're getting 2 seasons. So I'm curious if they're going to adapt some more storylines directly from the comic as opposed to playing loosey-goosey and like, let's take a little part of this storyline or let's take something else and just mash it all together and hope for the best.
Yeah, they did like the Savage Land at one point.
Yeah, I mean, they were taking some elements from the comic book, but it was just the team they had, didn't quite work for it, and then it was just, man, y'all should have just left this alone if you're going to do it this way. Chief, are you a big X-Men fan?
Yes. The cartoon.
Yeah.
Not the movies.
No. There's an important distinction. They only have like 3 good movies if we don't count Deadpool.
Yeah. The cartoons were awesome. The movies were not.
No, they were the opposite of awesome.
Yeah. You remember the Juggernaut? What's my man? The soccer
Vinny
player?
Jones.
Vince Jones. Yeah, Vinny. Oh, Vinny in the Juggernaut outfit. Man, there were mistakes were made.
That's a mistake.
You know what happens to frogs when lightning hits them? I was expecting some big lines, some really catchy line. Same thing as everything else. I said, what? I remember the movie. What? That was what you wrote?
And yeah, there's clarification on this. It's going to be Justice League Crisis on Infinite Earths, and they're also doing Watchmen.
Okay, like I'm not really. To me, that doesn't even make sense. Like, if you're doing Crisis, what 3 years after you did Flashpoint and did 52, it's like, haha, we're killing the heroes. You just did that. Like, I'm still trying to figure out how this Justice League War World. It's like I'm not even sure I want to see an R-rated Justice League movie. I'm like, is that all you guys can do is R-rated? Like, the actual necessity that it actually takes work to make a adult show like what is it, U7? I mean Y7, and it's like to actually make a actually good show that doesn't have all these we're gonna have a whole bunch of people dead. It's like that takes work. Like, I mean, it seemed like that's why Young Justice worked really well. when they actually had that restriction. And then as soon as they lost it, then you got Young Justice season 3 and 4, which were very much like, hey, can you save us for season 5? And everyone's like, no, you're good. You don't need any more episodes. Like, so having a Justice League where it's basically the Trinity of Batman, Superman, and Batman. Oh, they're going to Mongols world and they're going to be killing. It's like, I don't need to see that. So having another crisis like that, I don't. That's probably not going to watch. Now, Watchmen. I mean, at least you're using adult content, like, and how. I mean, I'm really trying to figure out why you need to make a Watchmen animated when you just did a Watchmen movie, like with the darkest director that you guys said, "Oh gosh, we hate Zack Snyder. He makes everything so dark and gloomy." I didn't like. But we're going to do an animated movie. We're going to do it right. Like, come on.
Watchmen with some cut. I mean, it was. It was straight chocolate daddy.
Did you read the comic book?
I didn't read the comic book. I saw the movie. The movie was chocolate daddy, man. And the only thing I liked about the movie was Rorschach, and the jail scenes. You know, that's it. The rest of it, chocolate daddy. You know,
he did exactly what that movie was set up in terms of being adapted for the big screen. Like, it's not a show. It's just not going to be the same excitement as it is reading the comic book, because there's so many nuances that can't get conveyed in live action. And we see, I think Zack Snyder did a great job doing his best to adapt it, but it's hard to do. And I can't imagine this cartoon doing a better job where it's like, oh, that's what they should have put out in theaters. I don't know. I don't have high hopes for it. But, you know, if you need some homework, you want something to read and check out to find out what all the fuss was about, check out Watchmen. It's an interesting read. And here's some more news on the Warner Brothers front. Turns out there was a request to do some reshoots for Blue Beetle, and Warner Brothers said no. So now Hollywood Reporter said that Aquaman 2 is just doing terrible and everybody's not feeling it. James Gunn had to offer some help on 5 days of reshoots for Aquaman 2. And all right, well, Blue Beetle was like, hey, we just need 2 days. And Warner Brothers said, no, we're not doing that. And no chance. We're not going to do this thing. And that might sound like maybe Warner Brothers is not really feeling it. What are you guys thinking here? What's your excitement level for Blue Beetle? Oh, it's high. Okay.
Yeah. Nobody asked for Blue Beetle. Who asked for Blue Beetle? You in the comments. Which one of y'all asked for Blue Beetle? Nobody asked for Blue Beetle. When they was like, man, we should come out with another superhero. Nobody was like, man, Blue Beetle. No one wanted Blue Beetle, man. They just picking stuff. You know, I think it's a hat. A DC comic book hat that they just put all the characters in and they just shake it up and then they just pass it around. You know what I mean? And whoever is the highest ranking person in that room at that time, whatever one they pull, Blue Beetle. We're gonna do a Blue Beetle movie. That's what we need. That's what. Nobody asked for it. You didn't ask for it. Jeff didn't ask for it. Jayce didn't ask for it. I didn't ask for it. You know what I mean? Nobody wanted Blue Beetle. Nobody thought of Blue Beetle. Nobody was like, man, the movie we need, the hero we need is blue and he's a beetle. Nobody wanted that. So I'm not looking forward to Blue Beetle because I didn't want Blue Beetle. I wasn't looking forward to what's the Booster Gold? There was a Booster Gold. Nobody was asking for Booster Gold. Who in the hell asked for Booster Gold? No one asked for Booster Gold. You know what I mean?
Booster Gold.
You know, next thing we know, we're gonna come out with another Flash Gordon movie. Flash Gordon. No.
What's the problem? You watch the movie again if that's your
bro.
That's how you remember the theme.
Remember the 80s Flash Gordon movie?
Yes. Just literally watched it.
Negative. Cut. Chocolate Daddy.
You've not watched that movie since I don't know
that movie. Like, you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of the was the Lou Ferrigno Hercules. You remember how bad that joint was? Yeah, Flash Gordon, bro.
James Green puts it out. What DC movie would you guys like to see done? Okay. All right, I'll go first. I'd like to see a Justice League movie done, like with them fighting the Injustice League. I like to see a Justice Society where it's set in World War II and they're fighting a bunch of Nazis. And do that. Do a Teen Titans movie. I mean, the strength of DC are those character bonds and relationships, the legacy characters interacting. Batman working with Robin then working with the Teen Titans. Do that. And if you start off with the Justice Society, you've got a Flash, a Green Lantern, Hawkman, Atom. That then you see the new generation in the Justice League, and Teen Titans carries that over with the next generation of sidekicks. And then you got characters that maybe people will want to see in their own movies, like a Nightwing movie would work. Jayce, what about you?
I think the sad thing is you do have to, like with DC, it's like their strongest stuff is their teams. I think the Teen Titans movie, I know they probably screwed that over with the TV show property, but I think you could do one. There's some you can adapt for Teen Titans that hasn't already been bastardized by the Teen Titans show. So I think I go with that, just to bring in some new characters that we don't see all the time. Because I was like, you can't. Everybody big has technically had a movie, so I don't. And again, Chief has said this before. He's not jumping up for Cyborg movie, so I think we gotta go with this. Give me Teen Titans movie.
All right, Chief. How about you?
Jeff, man, I wholeheartedly agree with you on this Justice League movie. They should have made the damn movie. And judging by the Snyder cut, you could have went Darkseid, or you could have went Luthor and the Legion of Doom. You could have went either. You could have went either way. But instead, we got a crappy Wonder Woman movie. We got a crappy Flash movie. In terms of what the people wanted. We got another Batman with the weird Batman. You know what I mean? Emu Batman.
You could have, think about it. What you just said. You could have had, hey, Patty, instead of going to this Wonder Woman 1984, we'd like you to direct Justice League 2 against the Legion of Doom, who you don't have to work giant amount of time setting them up, all these bad guys.
Unless you work in Gigantic.
This is you just need Luthor. He's hiring. They put on almost like a Suicide Squad level display of their powers. They're I need you to take the Justice League out. Patty, go. Here's what we need you to do.
Do any of y'all drink beer?
No.
Well, I drink beer. So, what's your drink of choice?
Coke or Sunkist.
All right, so you go to a cookout. They got a cooler full of ice and ice cold Coca-Cola in it, right?
Uh-huh.
You're at the cool, and it's almost like they just give you one. Here you go, Jeff. You want to sit down, you want to enjoy your Coca-Colas and drink them. And I feel like that's what they did with the Justice movies. They gave you one Coke at the cookout, patted you on your butt, and told you, man, enjoy the burgers.
I like
you know
what
I mean? You know what I mean? And you want to, because for me, that one beer, that ice cold beer with the ice and the condensation dripping off, I'm not gonna drink just one. You know what I mean? I might even sit by the cooler, so I don't have to I can just reach and grab me another ice cold. And I feel like they had that setup. You had a cooler full of beer, ice cold, and everybody was wanting to take I can't wait to dip in there and grab another one. You know what I mean? And you just took it, locked it up, and drove off with it. And you know what I mean? And so now we're all just at the joint, thirsty and angry. And this is where we are now. We don't want Blue Beetle movies. We don't want Booster Gold movies. We're all suffering in what could have been, what should have been. See, sir, I did not ask. I don't know why you want a Booster Gold show.
Booster Gold is a great character, and if it's done right, it'd make for a good movie.
Okay, somebody said, Blue Beetle looks like a low budget version of Shazam, and it's like that, like a crappy little version of Shazam, and I'm like, I like Shazam, but it's like you could tell that second one didn't have the right hands on it. Like, yeah, this is going a little silly. Like, let's market this like a family movie. He's trying to keep the family together, who's all about to age out of foster care, and that's a big thing. Like, we should be talking about that. That should be our marketing campaign. No, it's starting for the bottom. Now we're here. It's like, so we're gonna miss on that. And you basically like, okay, well, Blue Beetle has all his non-powered family basically knowing he's Blue Beetle, and it looks like a daggone sitcom. It's like, no one wants to really get this. Like, give me Young Justice season 2 Blue Beetle, and I'll go with that. That's a much better version than, hey, everybody's in part of the, Ms. Marvel, where everybody knows about Kamala and her powers. It's like, guys, like, we actually, us comic book fans, enjoy secret identities. I don't know where you guys think it's a bad idea. We actually enjoy that. Like, how do they balance their lives to get with all the mess that they have? Not, let's make it simple so they don't have to do it. Like, get out of here.
Blue Beetle's just the worst. Booster Gold is too, sir. I'm sorry, man. 80s kid from the 90s, Booster Gold is going to be some cut too. You know what I mean?
I need to make sure I record this so after you see Booster Gold and you're like, oh man, that joy was hitting.
I'm not going to
play this part. We can replay this episode and we'll be like, oh man, you're wrong.
If he's anything like the comic book version, he's arrogant. He's like, I'm not interested in that. I've got a Booster Gold down the street. If I want to go watch this dude, my arrogant ass neighbor, I can go watch him and sit out front in a chair with a cold beer from the cooler.
I'm gonna make sure I take the beer away from you.
Right. And watch him be arrogant. You know what I mean? So yeah, man, I'm not gonna do it, man. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna chill in the house on this one once again. You know what I mean?
Blake says Teen Titans might be a good movie if it's good. And I think Teen Titans would work on multiple levels because if you just show, that's why I kind of felt like
the show was decent.
The show, which one are you talking about? The cartoons?
No, for a while the DC joint was pretty good.
For a while,
for two seasons. Then they decided to make Scarecrow a season-long villain. I'm super excited for Legacy. I am much more excited for Legacy than I was previously Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Now I'm cautiously excited.
Let me say this, like, after watching the end of Nick Fury, I'm actually excited to see what DC can do because Marvel has dropped the comic book ball. Like, there's a vacuum open. I think James Gunn be like, I know the secret on how they made their sauce. I can put my extra little sauce to make this Superman that I'm building my whole universe in this one movie. I can make this work, and I actually am excited for Legacy now.
Really? Listen, man. DC has disappointed me so bad, man, that Marvel come out with 20 more stories that I don't care about, man. Marvel made Endgame. It doesn't matter. Anything after that doesn't matter. It's almost like Michael Jackson Thriller album. You know what I mean? You got some down the line. You got some, Jim Jones was but he made.
Wait, which way are you going with that?
What I'm saying is he made Thriller. So no other album to me in that era beat Thriller. And what I'm saying in this era that we're in now, they made Endgame, which is Thriller, and the rest of these joints is, you know what I mean?
Okay, but you could, like, the thing is, like, if Endgame was a story put together by 15 plus movies to be the culmination
of the opportunity.
Again, like, and that's the thing. It's like DC has, like, if you actually give the keys to somebody and let them actually cook for a while, you can actually be like, hey, we give you enough time to actually do this. Like, if James Gunn has an ironclad, I got 10 movies to make my big movie. You can't cut me off before 10. or you owe me $3 billion. Like, you give them that kind of opportunity, I think you have a chance to actually do something with DC. Like, I think Marvel has lost it.
How much more time do you need from DC?
I need them to build up.
It seems like you keep giving them chances. I'll never hit you again. All right, I'll come home. You gotta stop giving them chances. They've already ruined it.
No,
you know what
listen, I mean? Like, again, that's the thing. Is like,
that's what I'm saying.
If you I think their heads screwed up everything. We're not gonna defend that, but I think you give me a reboot with the guy who made Guardians 3. I'm giving you a chance. Like, if you, I think having, like, if you didn't see Guardians 3, you just got, like, I don't know. Like, Guardians 3 made you give a crap about characters you had never seen before, and you were mostly invested in what happened to them. Like, seeing that, you're like, if this guy is giving the keys and he's putting all these random characters in there, I'm thinking I'm going to give a crap about what happens to these characters. And if you're building a universe, that's a great thing.
You know what? Guardians 3 was good. It was sad. You know what I mean? But I mean, listen, man, I didn't cry.
So did you watched it now?
I watched it, man. I wanted to, man. But here's the thing. They out of chances with me, bro. They're out of chances. I mean, look, Aquaman is about to bomb. There's no Wonder Woman, right? They changed the Batman out. They changed the Flash out. They changed the Superman out. And then you're telling me that I have to stay alive. I mean, that's what you're saying now. You're saying,
honestly, in all honesty,
if in 2 years it's just you and Jeff on the podcast because something's happened to me, you don't know. These things should have already taken place. We should have been sitting here talking about how great Justice League was, how great Superman was. These things. Now we're waiting. You know how much a year brings?
Chief, here's the funny thing. 2
years brings?
Here's the sad thing is that movie that is supposed to be shot in is supposed to be released in 2025 is getting pushed back. This writer's strike is definitely putting it back. It's not like whatever the date is, it's getting pushed back. And you're like, see, this is your fault. But then I'd rather them have time to actually write versus them putting out a 1984. They're like, yep, sorry, sucks to be you. No more reshoot.
You got to walk around in bubble wrap to make sure nothing happens to you for the next 3 years. That's what I'm trying to say. But so the next 3 years, so you can watch this thing, and this already should have happened. Like, you know what I mean? Now you've got to protect your eyes. You got to put on the sunscreen. You have to make sure you're straight for the next 3 to 4 years, bro. When we could have had these movies already. And that's my point. Like, we got rid of, so we watched the Endgame, right? Boom. All this other stuff is just
garbage.
But it's after everything already happened. I don't care. So when they do these Disney joints, man, you can choose to watch them. You can choose not to. Whatever. She-Hulk was garbage. Obviously, this joint here was garbage. The Star Wars joints was garbage. I didn't even see the joint from the dude from Rogue One because he died. Because I'm like, I'm not going to watch a show where a dude dies. I know he dies in the future, and I'm going to spend 8 hours watching this show now. So here's what I'm saying to you. I didn't watch a whole bunch of stuff.
Chief.
But I don't feel any kind of way about it because we had a great 10-year run. Like 10 years, bro. We had a great run. Iron Man, Thor, right? Captain America. All the Captain Americas was fire. Now all the Thors weren't. Don't give me. Let me just. Ragnarok was especially great. But anyway, so all these things have happened. We were here. I'm looking at you guys right now. We were here in the moment we saw these things. We're in our 40s. It's not like look. 10 years ago we were in our 30s. We knew we were going to see these movies. That's the point I'm trying to say. So exactly, everything post Endgame is irrelevant. It doesn't matter. So they can put out whatever. DC has blown this thing when we should have everybody who's in the chat. We should have had a a Justice League movie, a Legion of Doom movie, a movie where he fought Darkseid, where they fought Darkseid. We should have all these movies out by now.
Yeah,
we should have
what about a Man of Steel
things.
sequel?
Say, sir.
What about a Superman sequel?
A Superman sequel. 2013 was the original Man of Steel, bro. 2013. That's 11 years ago. Hey, 11 years, no sequel. Look, we got that Jimmy rigged Justice League. We had to see the original one. That joint was cut. I still go by and sit there for 3 hours to watch the Snyder cut.
I'm sorry.
Because
it's 4 hours, and yes, everybody here was.
But it makes sense. All I'm saying is these things could have been done by now. Yeah. We could have been like, yo, we saw them. It was great. We lived. Now we can't even say that. We don't know. You know what I mean? I got to walk my dogs after it's over. I get hit by a car and I never see it. This is what I'm saying. So, Legion of Doom. See? So, we should have already had a Legion of Doom movie. I mean, they would set it up. They put it out.
But, like, I think Jeff has said it before. It's like they were, I think, and somebody else in the chat mentioned this. It was like DC was so reactionary when, Green Lantern did not do what they wanted. Like, that was going to be their jump off. That's why they put the teaser of Sinestro. And they were going to have maybe like a Sinestro Cold War. Like, they were trying to go to all of it. But then it didn't hit. And then they're like, oh, shoot, what do we do? Let's go into a whole different direction.
I love Green Lantern. And I was mad when Deadpool went back in time and killed him. So these are the things I'm saying to you guys. We should have had these movies. And the Legion of Doom, man. We should have had a Legion of Doom. Now we gotta wait. See 5 movies that culminate, but we already had it hooked it up. Like, it was already in there. It was. They slapped a plate of food out of our hand and put Blue Beetle into it. This is what I'm saying to you guys. I need you to understand what is happening here. They slapped the plate out of it and put these whack characters into it, and then said, "Yo, we'll give you Superman again. You gotta wait another 5 years, bro. I retire in 4. You know what happens?
I'm trying to watch all these DC movies,
bro. I'm through, man. You guys go watch it, and if you tell me it's good, because they're not gonna get a penny. And Blake, I'm trying to, man. I'm trying to. You know what I mean? But I'm not gonna give them another penny. Not another penny until Blue Beetle. No, I'll watch it when it comes on HBO Max.
Would you? I mean, I hate to say this, but like, it seems like they have lost faith in Blue Beetle and Aquaman. Aquaman, they were saying like, oh yeah, we had to do 1,000 reshoots because we had Ben Affleck in there, and then we said Ben Affleck doesn't matter. Then we had to shoot how many reshoots of The Flash because, oh yeah, we decided Henry Cavill's not coming back. We already had the daggone test footage. We already had the footage. All we have to do is do it. You don't have to.
And now you got your fingers crossed for a good legacy, huh? Yeah.
It's a totally different regime, Chief.
Yeah, it's always a totally different regime. You know, the more things change, the more they stay the same. Believe that. Yeah, you'll be 28. You might be 48. You might be our age. Trying to count how many summers you got left. That's true. I agree too.
I mean, honestly, I'm wonder if they're going like after the fact that James Gunn has to come down. They're like, yeah, this thing needs work. Like, it's not doing well in test footage. Like, are they going to just be like, hey? After I'm now the head of this, I've already screwed the universe up by announcing none of these guys are coming back. I can just cancel this movie. Like, hey, budget people. Like, hey, we've already gotten rid of Batgirl. Like, these other two are not hitting right.
Yeah, just Batgirl.
Why not take a write-off on both of them? Like, we can just say it's all over until Creature Commandos.
We want the money, Ethan. Now, 80s Kid said something I felt the need to address. My Star Wars movies are all 6 of them. Now, I'm with you, but I feel like you could add 2 more into that. Rogue One is excellent, and Solo's just fine. I mean, I'm not going to fight you on Solo, but Rogue One is awesome. I know Chief is like, oh, man, they killed everybody, but that's what made it awesome.
Hold on, Rogue One was good.
Rogue One was great.
But the series he was in after Rogue One, I wasn't watching because he died in Rogue One.
Listen, you should watch Andor. It's great. Really good stuff. It's really good. I don't try to steer you wrong.
Not gonna do it.
Maybe I can get some help in the chat because Andor is awesome. And
gonna be prudent.
Nice surprises. I mean, and all that time you could be watching Blue Beetle, you could watch Andor.
I know he dies. I know he dies.
Yeah.
The same reason why we're not going to see these DC movies. We know they ends. We know they end.
Blake is saying there's only 3 good Star Wars movies. Star Wars, Empire, and Rogue One. Jayce is fighting you right now, Blake. I mean, Revenge of the Sith.
I mean, Blake, no Sith? Like, wow, okay.
He's no Jedi.
Wow. Wow. I mean,
all right, so here's another bit of news, and I'm very curious. I haven't watched it first off, Chief, so I know this is going to be your next question. But Barbie scored the best domestic opening of 2023 with $155 million, and everybody is feeling the Barbie fever. And people are so excited, maybe this will make enough money to offset what Warner Brothers lost for The Flash. I don't know if that's going to happen, but Barbie fever's hit, and this looks like the big summer blockbuster that we didn't know was going to arrive. And let's see here. So Barbie has taken in almost double.
I'm just looking like that looks like a pink shirt there, sir. Did you go see Barbie?
No, sir. This is a look. It's not puce.
Hey,
but hey, listen, don't get me wrong. I don't have a problem wearing pink. I got a couple of pink shirts.
Exactly.
But I'm not going to see Barbie.
Afterchild said what? I'm going to assume Afterchild was saying that to your poosh comment. Andor was great. They fleshed out multiple characters. Sith had its moment, but the end, no, come on, man. He's like,
oh yeah.
You were my brother, Anakin.
He was upset. You killed Padme in your anger.
No.
We're talking about Barbie, 80s kids. I mean, because there's been a rack of people who are excited about Barbie. So my thought was, this shows there's an audience for movies, blockbuster movies, for predominantly female audiences. And dudes are like, yeah, why not? I'll check it out. But I feel like what we're seeing now with specifically Marvel Studio films and TV shows, they're trying to catch that audience that flock to Barbie, but aren't flocking to their MCU stuff. Like She-Hulk was a please female viewer, watch our stuff. It is 100% for you. We thought we were going to do a legal show, but we don't know anything about law, so it's just talking about how crappy dudes are. It's funny, you'll love it. And said no, it didn't get a great reaction and great reception. People trashed it because the majority of the audience is still not female. And when you do that, it's like, nah, that's not gonna work for me. And you have Eternals where it's like Cersei's the best character. Okay, but nobody cares about Eternals. Then we have Black Widow. Black Widow was cool, but it was all about the characters who we know we're gonna like. And Chief, did you see Black Widow since you knew she was gonna die?
I saw Black Widow, but that was during the time where we weren't going through the movies. We needed to. It came in on Disney. I watched it. It was, it was okay. What are you gonna do? I'm stuck inside.
80s. Are you talking about She-Hulk?
Listen, he had to be talking about She-Hulk because you had to stop watching She-Hulk. On a scale of 1 to 10, that was a sub 6. It just didn't make any sense. It was stupid. It was just, you know what I mean?
So Blaze said, I heard Barbie was the same. A male bash session. They hid that in the marketing. But even if that is the case, Barbie is not being marketed for dudes. So if it's, hey, women, come have some jokes at the dumb dude's expense, that's a Barbie. Okay, no problem. I want my superhero shows to be, look at how amazing these women are because they're women. Like in the whole series, hopefully series finale of Secret Invasion. The major problem was Gaia, who was never shown to be this formidable fighter, is all of a sudden beating the dude that we watched every episode, beat dudes down, kill him, use all his infiltration spy techniques to beat down and kill people. All of a sudden, because she's got some power, she's better than him. Yeah. I really had a problem with that because it was like, oh yeah, now she can do stuff because she's a super powered woman.
Yeah, well, and also the fact now she's the most powerful character in the MCU universe, and we've never heard of her anywhere. Like, okay, thanks. It's like whenever you try and mess with like your target audience, like the best thing is like what gets people is when you make a phenomenon and get more people in, but you 100% cater to your target audience. Like this is why movies like Transformers always are like, why do you not cater to the people who like the 80s Transformers? And we will bring our wives, our kids into those movies if they're good. We will just like the Marvel movies. If you say, oh, they were so male focused, but you look at the target, you can see the breakdown. It was not just 90% males. It was definitely, there was a large amount of children. There was a large amount of females. And it was like, we make good stuff. But now we got to this new version of Marvel that it's like, we're trying to serve a different, I got much more words. Like we're trying to change our.
You better.
Well, no, I had. It's like because I'm trying to like. It's like they're trying to serve a different. Let me say they're trying to serve a different master, and it's like your core audience is like, hey, we're still here. Why are you trying to just say we don't matter? Like we're not good enough to give you our dollars anymore. Like because we were bringing everybody else's dollars, and now you don't like our dollars, and you're asking for an audience that just is not make its number one priority your kind of movies. Like the movie like Oppenheimer. Oppenheimer is not targeted to kids, not marketed to kids, knowing it's not going to get kids. It's not going to try and market like, what we should really do is kind of make a movie that focuses on everybody else who was in the Manhattan Project, except the guys and, people actually working on the bomb. That's really what if you did that, you would get buried. It's like, why? I don't care about you. We would be like, you don't care. Why would I want to care about this movie? Like, we're intrigued by the subject matter, like Barbie. When you say, hey, you release saying, hey, it's a Barbie movie, I'm like, this isn't for me, and that's cool. Like, I'm glad y'all. It's like you marketed somebody who isn't me. Like, that's cool. And show that the power of that dollar is available. But trying to say after Marvel, hey, we enjoyed your money, now we don't want it. And it's like it's like you get 13% on your TV show because you don't want us. Well, thank you. You're gonna have a project after this that I'm not gonna come on because you don't want my dollars now. So thank you. You saved me some time.
Yeah, the Bumblebee was surprisingly good. I mean, I love that action scene at the beginning because it was like, oh man, colors. I can see who the Transformers are. It's awesome. So yeah, I really, really like Bumblebee way more than I thought because I was so tired of the formula. But it kind of brought me back into the franchise, opening the door up for me to watch Rise of the Beast, which I really enjoyed and really happy with that one. So yeah, the Transformer movies are turning around. Oh man, Sick Man wasn't feeling it. Bumblebee was cool. Rise of the Beast is a toothache. Just gargle with some salt water.
Didn't you think the Transformers movie started to suck when Shia left?
No, when they started.
You said when Shia left. I mean, the best part about the Michael Bay Transformer movies to me were he was living out his G.I. Joe fantasy with Josh Duhamel and Tyrese being action heroes in this ridiculous everybody's gray except for Prime and Bumblebee. Hated his movies with the Transformers. I felt like he didn't understand what Transformers were, what they were about. And I mean, they were like murdering, massacring Decepticons, like, here's your head and skull and skeleton. I'm working out your body. I was traumatized. Way worse than when Ironhide said, "No, don't."
Like,
such road nonsense.
I mean, like, just watching the previews of Rise of the Beast, I'm like, oh, Mirage actually does his power. That's cool. Like, it actually is like reminds, like, oh, RC looks like RC. I mean, the coolest part of the original Transformers movie was you had Peter Cullen coming back as Prime. If anybody else would be coming out and saying Prime, like, yeah, I wouldn't even watch that thing for 2 minutes after seeing
when did the Transformer movies become good to you then? If you didn't like the originals, just Bumblebee and the Beast.
Did you hear me actually say they were good?
Well, I heard Jeff say he liked. So you never liked any of them?
Nah, man. I was, well, you know what I mean? My thing was I was enjoying watching G.I. Joe in the Transformers because I thought that he was doing some really cool action hero stuff, using all his bad boy stuff with Tyrese and Josh Duhamel. Like, I like the Transformers movies when they weren't focusing on the Transformers and Shia LaBeouf because he was annoying. And so those are my favorite parts of those movies. The action scenes with the dudes, like when the building is falling and they're like gliding through. Love that. That was really cool.
I liked the first three up until they changed up and put Wahlberg in it.
Yeah, I mean,
and then after that, I haven't seen a Transformer movie since.
Years 2005. That would be really interesting. So yeah, I mean, I'm fine with Barbie doing his thing at the box office, but it seems like now, Jayce, everything is going to be run amok and gone crazy because of this strike, and it seems like everything is going to be delayed, and I don't really think that's a bad idea.
No, I think Marvel. Marvel, like any of our action things that are going to be multi-year projects, I think they all need to kind of see the mistakes that Marvel has made and be like, okay, they're not just printing off money anymore. There is a formula to this. When they followed the formula, they printed money. Their deviations are not working. So if you're like Bob Iger, who's on record, like, yep, we diluted our project,
Oh, hold on, man. That's interesting that you said that right at that exact moment because I was just pulling this up. Very curious what you thought about this.
Okay.
So Mark Guggenheim, one of the creators of the Arrowverse, is like, yo, they are going too hard. And he's like, they need to slow it down and reboot the MCU because it's just too much. He was on the Arathi and I don't want to butcher their names. Arathi and Saram show. Apologies if I did. Guggenheim said Marvel Studios' lackluster results since Endgame, saying he would prune the tree if he were in charge. If I was settling in Marvel Studios President Kevin Feige's role, basically I would do what Iger was saying, which is prune the tree. You know, there's just too much content. I'm like the biggest Marvel nerd ever, and I haven't seen Moon Knight. I just can't keep up. There's just too much content. Okay. He added that the key to the MCU's previous success was its fundamentally very simple stories, being able to jump in without seeing it at the prior films. And then, of course, like I was saying, there's a question of how much content you can produce at quality. To me, the difference between phase 4 and phases 1 through 3 is fundamentally very simple, which is you could even be watching Infinity War without having seen the prior X number of films. All right, so let's see. This game of stories like Winter Soldier and Black Panther, where movies were their own stories while also setting the foundation for things. Exactly. Like you mentioned Winter Soldier. Winter Soldier was its own movie with a beginning, middle, and end. And yet that movie set the foundation for things. We talked about this earlier today, Jayce. Mm-hmm. That if you know it didn't deal with Infinity Stones, but it did deal with Hydra and S.H.I.E.L.D. Secret Invasion, remember that? And Steve Rogers' relationship with the government and the Winter Soldier. There were a lot of pieces. The same thing with Black Panther. Black Panther works great as a movie, beginning, middle, and end, even though it's setting up the whole world of Wakanda that figures in very large in Infinity War. So What do y'all think? I mean, is that just a problem?
I think Marvel. Yeah, I think that's why the writer's strike is going to be a really good thing, because it really should force them to like, all right, we don't need Agatha, we don't need Hawkeye season 2. We really need to, if WandaVision season 2 is on the docket, we really need to think about that.
Chisel Diarrhea says current MCU is making Morbius look really good. Whew.
Ooh, I would almost take you up on that bet, but I am not watching Morbius voluntarily.
I think I may watch Morbius just for some fun, because I will go into that knowing Morbius is bad, as opposed to them announcing we're doing a secret invasion. Oh, that should be cool. You can make it really work. Oh no, we're not going to pay attention to anything. We're going to retcon everything about Nick Fury to make him incompetent. Cool? No,
but again, but here's the great thing. Once it's all said and done, Nick Fury's going to get back on this ship and act like the whole damn world doesn't matter.
And he's going to act like Secret Invasion didn't matter. And I, too, will act like Secret Invasion didn't matter. Hey, there's one thing about that you didn't really mention, and I wanted to discuss it because I felt like they were really just all over the place with scripting and character motivation and what the heck was going on in the MCU. Because we get the reveal that, hey, all the Skrulls who replace people are actually still tucked away at Skrullverse, which is apparently heaping full of radiation. So Gravix is like, screw my people, but I'm gonna let these people who my folks have invaded and taken over their bodies, I'm gonna make sure they're breathing clean, pure air. That made any sense. But Rhodey came out and they pulled him out of the case and he's in a hospital gown, and he can't walk. And that kind of suggests that he was snatched before, like right at the end point of Civil War, which then opens up all the can of worms. And it's like, well, are you guys even keeping up with what you said in episode 1 or 2? Because y'all told us, and I remember because I was watching it, that Gravix didn't get pissed at Nick Fury until the blip. And that was when he was like, well, shoot, I need to do such and such. I need to take care of this thing because my daddy left and he didn't come back. Papa was a rolling flake of dust. And then it's like, hey, so if that is what really happened, why are the Skrulls snatching up Rhodey in Civil War?
Like, I was trying not to go too long on that part. I mean, just
you failed.
As you can hear. But that was like, you guys they had like a episode 1. They're not bad. They just became bad because they felt abandoned. But we snatched Rhodey out of the hospital. Then they've been back for X amount of years. And it's like, and at that point, Nick Fury, who's been around, I think, the Skrulls for 20 dang years, would have figured out Rhodey's not Rhodey. Like, I mean, and also, wait a minute. Here's that other weird thing. If you replace Rhodey in, at the hospital, there's going to be people sampling the dude's blood to make sure the whole injection, things, legs, prosthetics are working. They're going to probably be monitoring him all the dang time.
But you know who was there?
Tony freaking Stark, who would have been so daggone suspicious if he would have saw a drop. Are you telling me before that point, after that point, Rhodey didn't fall down, skin his knee when he was supposedly rehabbing, that they didn't say, hey, Tony Stark, who's probably way too micromanaging the dude's rehab, didn't see anything and decided, guess what? Ultrons are back on the menu. Like,
me too. I hate all the Secret Invasions. I'm just gonna act like it did not happen.
I'm like, I think we were talking. I'm apologize. Like, we were talking about this earlier. I'm like, does this make any of us not want to see Armor Wars? Because it's like, you're gonna try and make it like Captain America. I mean, this daggone Secret Invasion matters, and I don't want this to matter. I want literally anything out of this multiverse saga to end as soon as dang possible. I don't want to see another piece of content out of it. Like, I don't want to see, I definitely don't want to see Echo. I don't want to see Agatha. Just give me the daggone Daredevil, and if you do a soft reboot of any of that, I will turn that thing off in 2 seconds. like to avoid anything of that either. So they gotta really just like go from jump. Like, all right, what are we're having 3 movies tops. They're gonna be connected to whether have the big movie, and that's it. Anything else? No, we're not doing anymore.
Okay, this is the last bit of news because I'm very curious on you all's thoughts with this. You watch WWE, Jay, so you know Hornswoggle, Dylan Postle.
Yeah,
he's talking about Disney's decision with Snow White, the live action remake. Because they're on a live action remake kick, and
it's profitable,
very original and all that good stuff. So, they cast Rachel Zegler as Snow White. People are like, how in the world could you have a Latina in the role of Snow White? It's right there, Snow White. So then people were like, so then they showed some set photos with a group of diverse male and female actors accompanying Snow White, with only one little person among their ranks. Then the predictable Disney's woke and politically correct. And people were like, hey, why are there no little people with Snow White? So Peter Dinklage, Game of Thrones fan or fame, said, I really love the fact that they're casting Latina actress as Snow White, but then questioning the decision to make the effing backwards story of 7 dwarves living in the cave. To that, the studio responded by saying the group were being reimagined. And, during the interview, Hornswoggle, who plays in Leprechaun Origins, said Dinklage actually hurt his fellow little person actors with those remarks. They're actors, dwarf actors that live that dream to be in a major motion picture such as this Disney remake. And now because Peter Dinklage said what he said last year, now it's taken away because of progression, quote unquote. It's not right because there aren't roles made for actors of my stature. Roles that aren't ever really given. I can't go out for the Harrison Ford or George Clooney roles because that's not for me. These dwarf roles are for people my stature, and now it's taken away. I don't feel that's right. And not only that, but now think about the additional stunt actors or body doubles. Now they're taking multiple actors of my stature that don't get these major roles. All these dwarfs took care of Snow White. They weren't these cave-dwelling monsters that people speak of. They all had 7 different characteristics for 7 different actors from my community. What you think?
Again, I just watched Once Upon a Time, and it's like I don't think the little person actors, I think they're just shorter people. It's like I don't see, like, again, Peter Dinklage is almost in a special category. He's been given opportunities, been great to do stuff, but I think Hornswoggle's right. It's like there's not roles. It's like when they're writing casting, they're not really. They've come up with who their typical actor. When they cut out a casting call, it does not include folks there. It's like, so you saying I've already made it here, so here's that ladder. Like that's the kind of. I told you you're gonna have to watch that swear button. I gotta watch myself. But it's like,
all right, Chief, what do you think?
I'll just say this little thing. Who cares? No matter, I'm not gonna watch 7 Snow White, and they're arguing over the dwarfs and who's Latina, and I you know what, man, I don't care. See, and they're so angry, and who cares, man? I didn't even know there was a market for that. They're
remaking everything, Chief.
It's like they got Aladdin. Disney is like, if there is an animated property we haven't touched, we will touch it. Like we're going to put it live action, and we're going to put so much money into it that after that first week, you won't even care about this movie. Like,
they changed Snow White. She's living she's living in a cage. Snow White can be living in Tent City in San Francisco. It doesn't matter to me. I don't care. I'm not going to go see it. I don't even know who wants to go see Snow White at this point. We're not even in that era anymore where Snow White is important. What is that movie? Like a 1950s movie?
Disney likes to reutilize just like they used to do with their properties. They would take it out of production, and then they're gonna re-release it.
It's still on Disney Plus.
I hate to tell you this, Lilo and Stitch is going to happen. If it is,
no, it's not. They've decided they pulled the plug on Lilo and Stitch. No live action Lilo and Stitch. Sorry, it's not coming.
Wow.
Blake says the wokies, when they get too woke, you can't tell the difference between them and the far right anymore.
I'm done with all that stuff, man. We're just arguing over silly stuff now. At this point, man,
like when they took Brody.
The damn internet. The problem with the internet, man, it gives everybody a voice, man. And some of the stuff is like, we really gonna argue over this?
They did. It's not coming.
Yeah. So look. Thank you.
All right. Well, now's that time because I have one that I have been holding very closely, tightly, and I'm making sure that I was not going to forget it. Jason, I need you to remind me.
You don't need it. You don't need it.
Yeah. The reasons are the reasons. Fellas, who are your nominees for Dummies of the Week? Broshot, why don't you start us off?
Okay. My dummy of the week is for these NFL players that get so daggone bored, they decide to bet on the games. Like, do you know how much money you're actually going to make betting on this game versus your yearly salary? Like, you've basically made it to the top of the heap to make, let's just say, $300,000 minimum. And you're going to bet, what, a $20, $50 bet on some football games? Like, are you Booster Gold? Seriously? Like, you really need to bet on games just to see if you can do it? Like,
the minimum salary is now $750,000. So
great job. I hope you bet every damn dollar of that on that one bet. Because guess what? When you actually get caught, which they always do, it seems, you're out for a year. So you know
what? I bet if Pat Mahomes was doing that, we wouldn't find out.
Bro, they never placed a bet through a friend. It's just their bet. You know what I mean? Like, that just don't make no sense.
You got DraftKings on your phone. Hey, dude, we know when we call you, we see DraftKings pops up too. Like, what are you doing? Like, what are you thinking? Like, this, hey, if I just go down to Connecticut, they won't know it's me.
Or you can just give the money to your man. Hey, listen, make some bets for me today. And never have nothing to worry about. Yeah, you know what, man?
I mean, you
have to be smart. Obviously, as we all know, we don't have to be smart to be an athlete. You just have to be athletic. The brains, there's very few. To me, there's very few small ones. What's his name? Antonio Brown. He could barely read and write. You see those text messages. You know what I mean? So, listen, man. It is what it is, man.
I mean, like, you literally wait, like, you basically busted your tail for 21 plus years.
It is what it is.
Get your dream cut away for not even a good bet.
Like, I bet it all on the Lions.
For to win the Super Bowl. Are you playing for the Chiefs and going to throw every game? What the heck are you doing? Like, yeah, so everyone who keeps getting caught betting on games, and literally, if the fact that they have to have a yearly meeting, hey guys, don't bet on the games. I know we have advertising and stuff, but don't bet on the games. Deal? Okay. So anyone who keeps doing it, my dummy of the week.
Okay. My dummy of the week is Elon Musk, because I'm not quite sure what he was thinking at all. I'm going to spend all this money getting Twitter, and then I'm going to rename it X and not have CM Punk or Shawn Michaels and Triple H as the official spokesman for this rebranding. Like, I don't understand that. I mean, he's gotten rid of the little blue chickadee and replaced it with an X. And I mean, it doesn't make sense. So now you're not tweeting, you're Xing. I don't get him. I don't understand why you spend all this money to buy something and then just go, this is terrible. I'm going to change everything. Why not just make your own? Create a thread of your own. And, oh, wait, can't use that one now. And I mean, just ridiculous. Chief, who's your nominee?
Old girl, baby. Finally admitted that she lied about that damn baby on the side of the road. Listen, man. And I keep telling him, whenever something like that goes down, man, you know, the black community, we kind of look at each other and we're like, we're going to stay out of this one. Because I knew, like, you know, because look, we text each other all the time and nobody was like, I hope she's okay. We were kind of like, the old baby on the side of the road trick, huh? No, I'm not going for that. And we all kind of knew that it was a lie, just like a Smollett. You know what I mean? Like, well, we was quiet on that one too. So we're quiet on this one. We knew that, you know, because let me ask you this. How would you even control a baby from running out in the street? Like, how would that be a successful kidnapping?
The Joker actually put them, like, you know, have you seen what was it? Have you seen Black Telephone?
Yes.
Yeah, it's like the baby's a little lore, and then the random people throw you in the van, and they release you 2 days later.
She couldn't control a baby running down the road. It was just running to the street. Like as soon as that joint happened, I was like, the old baby trick. I knew it wasn't true, and I was waiting. And then when they found her, I was like, she wasn't lost. You know what I mean?
My thing was, why didn't they take the car?
Bro.
Like as soon as I heard that, I was like, well, why is the car still here?
You know what I mean? She probably hopped on a city bus and went, you know what I mean? She at her cousin's house. You know what I mean? It's just one of those things, man, where...
Did you ever see Gone Girl?
Yeah.
Yeah. Just like hanging out in the motel, just watching the news.
Right. Your man, he come over to your house one day, he like, man, I can't make the payments on my car no more. I need to hide my car in your garage for 30 days. That's it. 30 days later, when he's gotten that check from the insurance company, what do? You pull the car out the garage? Hey, bro.
Look what I found.
Yeah, stay safe, man. And you know, that check already gone. You know what I mean? It's already done.
Here's a cooler full of cold beer just for you. All right, fellas. Thank you, as always, for rolling with me. Thank you all in the chat. Hanging out with us, 80s Kid, Blake, Afton Child, Digital Diarrhea, James Green, Stickman. Sure, I got everybody else who's been in here with us, too. When I say 80s Kid, I feel like I did. But thank you all, as always, for hanging out with us. We'll be back, as always, next Wednesday talking about I don't know what, because we're about to run out of shows to watch. But we'll figure it out, talk about all these ways that Marvel and DC can keep improving in anything else. So that's it for this episode. This episode of Lyle's Movie Files has been filed.